I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name is Dane Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain. And we're your fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we are a sex and dating advice podcast. We answer questions right here, right now, in this closet. And we find them either online from our wonderful listeners. Sounded like there was going to be a third option.
Yeah,
there isn't. No,
There
that's
could
it.
be.
There could be.
Maybe
from our our shitty listeners.
Yeah, our shitty listeners. Maybe we start getting on the streets and start asking people, being like, hey, what sex questions do you have?
I feel like there's no way we would make anyone uncomfortable if we did that.
No. Everyone always wants to talk to white men
Mm-hmm.
putting a microphone in their face, being like, tell us about your sex.
Yeah. People love it. They fucking hate when they can send questions in safely, anonymously. They really like their face. Maybe just like shove a camera in it.
Yeah.
You know, take their wallet, put their details on screen too. They love that.
Fully dox them. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
But you know what? This week we're going to be talking about sleeping until last call and then hitting the club.
How do you move past great sex?
What is this girl's deal?
And a walking red flag.
Oh yeah. Speaking of walking red flags, should I get into this this first question?
Yeah.
This is by President at Gmails. Anyone have experience with sleeping during the night, then getting up early to hit clubs during closing hours? Let's say a nightclub near you closes at 6 a.m. Your strat could be to stay on a normal sleep schedule. Sleep from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Get up, do a quick morning routine, hit the club at 5 a.m. completely fresh. Pick up leftover, brackets, doesn't mean ugly, chicks. Pros, does not fuck your sleep schedule like normal night game. Very time efficient. Healthy compared to night game. Cons, club vibe, probably shit compared to peak hours. Girls exhausted. Fewer girls to choose from. You must be quick. No time to warm yourself up. Probably hard to find a wingman for this. Girls you pulled will want to sleep in your bed. Something they'll have to do alone since you already had your sleep. And you have experience in this field. What strategies did you use? How are your results compared to conventional game?
Insane. This is...
He solved it.
We got so close. Seduction was doing okay for a while.
They're back, man. They're back with a fucking vengeance.
And I think... what I think ended up happening was I think all the people who were close, I think got it.
And left.
And now what we've got are the dregs who will never get it.
Yeah.
Imagine... There's a lot to unpack here. But imagine my favorite thing is like, oh, you know, she's going to want to sleep in your bed because it is 6 a.m. But not for you.
No, not for you.
You've already
You
slept.
just woke up. You're fresh. Maybe
You already slept. Imagine having to explain that, being like, sorry, baby. No. You have a nap. I'm just going to go live my life, I guess, because I slept also the normal hours of 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Who's sleeping like that? That's not a normal sleep schedule.
Do you have a job? Like 9 to 5, you get off work, you come home, like maybe you eat, maybe you don't because this person is wild, and then you just go to bed, and then you get up at 4 a.m. to hound exhausted women.
Yeah, exhausted drunk women.
But doesn't mean ugly. Very
Doesn't mean
importantly.
ugly, yeah. You're not going for the uggos. You're going for those late night cuties.
I love that we talk about people being able to, like, you know, sense your vibe, sense your intentions. Like, if you have a constructed persona, like, it's going to come through one way or another. Your vibe is going to be so off. Because it'll be 5 a.m. You're going to be walking in like, ooh, yawn with that cup of coffee. So fresh. So, like, it's going to be jarring as fuck.
You walking into the club with your fucking Starbucks Frappuccino.
Yeah, just like, brush, you know, your teeth are fresh. You just brush them. Like,
I guess, like, he's also mentions like a morning routine. So, like, maybe you've crushed a workout.
Yeah,
like you're ready to go. Like, I would be so. I mean, the upside to this is people are probably going to they'll probably just pass out and be like, oh, this guy's on so much cocaine.
Probably, yeah.
Right? Like, everyone's going to be like, oh, this guy's come back around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's
like
you'll
180. Be too fresh for the cocaine.
Yeah, it's true.
You're gonna freak everybody out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like walking into a room and then like being very pale and wearing like really old dark clothing and not having a shadow. And everyone's gonna be like, is this a vampire?
That guy's definitely a vampire, right?
Like, that's what you're gonna be giving. Not that you'll be giving vampire, you'll be giving weird. different, not one of us.
You'll be giving like corporate go-getter, right? Like
that's what you are. You're getting up at 4 to crush a morning routine. Like, what are you doing?
Like you're giving fucking Bateman, right? And not Jason.
No, not Jason. Not our boy Jay. What I love is like you with powers like this, with the ability to go to bed at 8 p.m., presumably sleep well enough that you wouldn't even get back into bed with a lady in it, to get up and not even get up to roll out of bed and go to the club. You're still giving yourself an hour for your routine. Like, you're so much better adjusted in so many ways than I am, and yet you beef it. It's like you have all the powers. You're like Superman that turned evil.
Can I just tell you, I've been doing this thing where I've been getting up at 10 a.m. every day.
Damn.
And for me, that's early.
Yeah, but why don't you answer my text till midday, Dane?
Because what ends up happening is I get up at 10 a.m. and then I move to the couch and then I fall asleep for another 2 hours. And by the time Dame wakes up, the clubs are closed and he can't find these exhausted There's
women.
no noon clubs anymore. Look, yes, like if you can do this, if this is something that you can do, in terms of like living your life, if you're cool with going to bed at 8 p.m. and waking up at 4 a.m., just get a great workout, get super fucking fit, and then be normal.
But you can't be normal if you go to bed at 8. I'm sorry.
It's true.
Because like you're missing the clubbing part of club. Also, like you say, oh, Con, I don't have much time. It's like, yeah, you're trying to fucking speed run meeting a girl and taking them home, which you're missing the point of that if you think you can just get in, get out, like, blah. Like, that's not how it works, generally. 2, you're being super fucking creepy because they've been drinking for hours, and you're the sharpest you could be. You just woke up and had a morning routine and a Starbucks frap on the way.
There's a lot to be said about sort of like the rules of consent when people have been drinking. Like, very much of like, you know, if someone is really drunk, consent is a murky water in the sense of like you kind of have to be like, ooh.
Yeah, if it doesn't matter if you consent if you're past a certain point of drunkenness.
Yes,
it doesn't count.
I think it gets murky when like if both of you are fucked up. Yeah, you know where's the onus? You know what I mean? Like this is the trouble I've always had with like that kind of.
That's like a gray area.
Yeah,
whereas this is pretty cut and dry. If you're the stone coldest sober anyone has ever been.
Like you are, and it's convenient that you've left out. It's convenient that the condition you're giving these women
is exhausted.
Is exhausted. It's like, no, they're fucking hammered.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyone at a club still at 5 a.m. who's willing to party to 6 a.m. is probably fucking messed the fuck up.
Not to say if you go out, you have to drink, but you know what you're doing. You're literally showing up when people are tired and exhausted, as you admit, and drunk, and you're trying to like catch them at the moment that they're like least sharp.
Yeah.
And you're doing it when you're at your most sharp.
Yes.
Like we've seen a guy who used to go to a club we went to who would wait until the end of the night and he wouldn't drink and he would just sit there. And then when he saw people get drunk, he would like corner them.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. And it's fucking creepy.
It's so predatory. It's so like, at best, it's predatory and creepy. At worst, it's crime.
Yes,
like, you know what I mean? Like
and like I think a good way to look at how people are going to view this is imagine explaining this to someone. If you got there and you're like, oh, so what I do is I sleep until 4 or 5 a.m. and I come just for last call at the club just to see if I can pick up. No one will be like, yeah, that's cool.
Like, try to explain to your friends where you met your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like I swooped in completely sober, grabbed her while she was blackout, brought her back to my place, fucked her, and then let her sleep by herself because I had already slept because, my sleep routine is 8 to 4.
Yeah. Bold of you to assume it would ever get to girlfriend.
Yes.
So you know it's weird. And also, like...
Yeah. Anytime anyone asks for, like, validation on the internet, I find that 9 times out of 10... like it's one party is doing the insane thing. Yes. Right? Like if someone's like, I just found out my girlfriend, puts a tracker in my shoe and monitors, has like 7 monitors in her closet where she monitors everything that I do. And she has a readout of everything that I've said that day. And then she categorizes it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to do.
Well, Is it? Only 7 monitors? That's...
Or people go online and it's like, this isn't weird, right? And then they proceed to say the weirdest fucking thing.
It's fucking weird, dude. And like, you're missing the point, right? If you go to a club, one, where are your buds?
Well, he was like, oh, it's going to be hard to find a wingman.
Yeah.
That's
a pretty good indication. If you're like, another human won't do this with me.
Yes. If you can't find a wingman to do something in a situation, then perhaps you need to reevaluate the situation. Because if I came up to Niall and was like, back in our heyday, in our single bachelorhood days, and I was like, hey, there's a country bar and it's a whatever happening tonight. Let's go. And I was like, no, man, that sounds terrible. I'd be like, oh, yeah, you're probably right. And vice versa. Like, that's the point of a wingman, is one, to help you in social circumstances, but also to like talk you out of stupid shit.
Sometimes you're horny or dumb or drunk and you want to do X, Y, or Z. And it's like, then great minds maybe hopefully don't think alike.
Yeah.
And too many cooks do not spoil the broth. Man, a lot of people are just saying, just do it solo. Maybe that's it. Maybe he listened to Too Many Cooks. Gotta go by myself at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Just like, and you're missing the point we talked about before, where it's like, when you go to a club, it's not just showing up and being like well dressed and looking hot. It's your vibe and it's you enjoying yourself is going to be the biggest draw. If you show up by yourself, sticking out like a sore thumb because you're just so fresh, you're sparkling, right? You got that Colgate cool blowing off your mouth breeze, like
you polish up real nice.
Nice. It's gonna be fucking weird, and you're gonna be alone, and you're gonna be predatory because what you're doing is everything sucks.
Yeah.
So this isn't gonna work, and just
now it's rare for me to ask this.
Is he a very sleepy boy?
No, I mean, I guess. But what's the comments say about this? Are people on his side? Are people like, this is the dumbest idea? Are people like, you've revolutionized it? What's the vibe? I usually don't care or want to hear it because I can usually guess, but like, these days I don't know what seduction is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, place your bet.
I think a lot of people are going to be like, this is stupid.
Okay, so first. Seems kind of weird showing up stone cold sober, trying to pick up stupidly drunk women that have been partying for 8 hours. Yeah. Next one, are you trying to spice up your life with a crime?
Okay.
Pretty sure OP is going to end up accused of or committing a crime. Bad idea all around. What the fuck? Seems predatory. Why don't you dig him outside the club 8:30 to 10 p.m. and then go home? That's someone who's almost there. They're on their way out, but they're still firmly entrenched. Okay. I'm going to go to his reply to this. I don't know what it is yet, but I thought about that. I don't mind going inside the club or bar, by the way. The numbers you get are worthless when the girls are about to go party. I'd rather be last impression than first. Time constraint is very soft and wholly depends on your discipline. You'll always be tempted to stay longer than you planned. This especially applies if you find a girl you can't pull yet, but you know you have good chances when you stay. But maybe it's worth a shot. Have you done that? Seems thirsty. Must be something better you can do. This is another comment. I have done this and can tell you people in the club in that hour are on a different planet. This sounds like an Always Sunny episode. Security will not let you in.
That's like my vibe. It's like if I ran a nightclub,
you probably look like you're ready to shoot it up.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Like you walk in, you're fresh, you're energized, you're ready to go. You just did 500 crunches and you're walking in there. I'm going to be like, this man is a criminal. There's no way.
Okay, he definitely is, because someone said something about bouncers. He was like, yeah, it sucks knowing bouncers might be like involved, because even if you do it on the street at 6 a.m., after the second time, the bouncers will get wise to your act and might try to get in the way, even though the sidewalk is public. I don't know. That's why I'm looking for advice. Hey, bud, if anyone is wise to your act and like the people put there to stop people doing bad things are trying to stop you doing your thing, guess what, bud?
Also, I look, this is no shade to bouncers, and I know there are a lot of bouncers out there who do a good job.
A lot of them aren't exactly sparkling.
Also,
examples.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you really think bouncers give a shit if two people outside their club are making out or exchanging numbers or finger banging each other waiting for their Uber? I promise you these bouncers have watched people do all sorts of crazy shit. For you to do something to the point where a bouncer is like, hey, dude, you gotta fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, the only time I've ever seen bouncers get annoyed at the actions of people is when you're trying to butt in line or you're fighting. Mm-hmm. Those are the only times I've ever seen a bouncer be like, fuck off.
Yeah, but
Get outta here.
Being like wise to your act implies that one, you're up to something that they have clocked, and two, if like you're recognizable to the point where you show up at all and they're like, there he is.
Yeah, it's like this guy.
What are you doing?
You're not
bud?
doing a good job. Like the whole idea of like, there's definitely
There's a fly in here. Why was he silent for this whole time? So what is he? Is he a bee?
I don't want
I'm gonna hit him with this if he comes out. So weird.
So
Why
scary.
is he so loud? And why did he not do anything for so long?
It's so loud and it's so scary. It sounds so big.
Yeah, it does sound real big.
Why the fuck does it sound so big? I'm worried I'm gonna like open up. It's gonna be like a mega
like a hornet?
like, hornet or something. Right?
This is the worst place for a hornet to be.
It's so small. I can't get out quickly.
No, you can't. We're also gonna knock this mic over.
Where is it?
It sounds like it's in there.
Yeah.
What should be like the smallest thing?
Was it his death throes?
I hope so.
His final.
His last hurrah. You gotta fucking just release this for our 300th episode.
Our B breakdown.
Called the B-sides.
What was it?
I don't even know what we were talking about.
I don't know either. If there's a weird break in this episode,
Like maybe all of a sudden we're talking again, but we can't remember what we were just saying.
Yeah.
It's because we were attacked by a bee?
it's back. Where is it?
I think we're being like, what's that, like, Secret Heart or whatever? Telltale Heart? Where he hears the heartbeat under the floor and it's his
Oh.
guilt. This is the bee, which is our...
It's Taylor Swift haunting us. It's so loud.
loud.
So I mean, like, I don't know what to do because like I like my audio perception. I can pick it up.
Yeah, I don't know if I... he just...
I don't
Can
know.
you guys hear the bee?
I don't know if you guys hear it, but also like I can hear it, and where it should be
It's not.
in terms of like
Yeah.
where I'm looking, it's not there.
No.
So this could be
Also,
Ghost Bee.
It's filling up the closet, like, really loudly.
Yeah, it's so loud.
It could be a hornet.
That's what I'm worried. I don't
What
want
if it's a murder hornet?
I don't want it making like a nest in here.
I also don't want it killing us.
I mean, sure, we had a good run.
We had a good run, I guess, yeah. Well, should we just go to the next question?
Yeah,
I will say it is cool that almost exclusively Seduction are saying no.
that is good. It's always nice when Seduction, like even their bullshit, like has a limit where even they're like, no, of course this is a terrible idea. But yeah, don't do this. Anything that like has a contingency on a very extreme plan, I think should, like, if the only way you can pick someone up is by
Yes.
completely rearranging the entire structure of your life.
Mhm.
Like this isn't
And also, like, self-admittedly pouncing when people are weak. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, that's not flirting, that's hunting.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, and I'm sure there's some fucking douchebag like, yeah, I'm a hunter. Yeah, I'm a sex tiger. No, you're being a criminal.
Yeah. You're the equivalent of rich white dentists going to, like, on safari and shooting a rhino after it's been tranquilized
Yes,
by
yes,
your,
yes.
paramilitary team that's gone in an hour ahead
Mhm.
and feeling like a big man because you're like, look at this, I killed a fucking rhino. But it's like just lying there and completely
Yeah.
defenseless and you have a high powered rifle.
Yeah.
Like that's like,
But
no
again, those fucking douchebags still go, look what I did.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm saying, it's
unfortunately,
like-
I don't think this person will listen to that and be like, yes.
Yeah, no one is impressed by that. It's not a feat. It's not an accomplishment. You're not doing anything.
Maybe a stinky feet.
It's a stinky
Feet. Not the kind of feet on my only feet.
Okay, this is from Witchcross Zero. How do you move past really great sex? I didn't understand how pleasurable sex was until I slept with my ex-boyfriend. Had never experienced climaxing until I had sex with him. I always knew I had a high sex drive, but it ramped up literally 1,000% with him, especially since our kinks lined up perfectly. Now that we're over, I wanted to move on, but I can't. Can't help but be pre-disappointed in other men, women, and other folk. I don't feel a connection with anyone. I'm not physically attracted to anyone, and I'm definitely not emotionally attracted to anyone either. I don't know what to do. I quickly learned that masturbation is not a substitute for mind-blowing sex. I'm pent up sexually. Now, there is a fairly long edit. Would you like that? There's some context.
Let's hit this. Let's talk about first, and
Okay.
then we'll see if the context lines up.
Sure.
I think the first thing is like you're asking how do you get past good sex, but what you're telling me is you're not over your ex.
Yes.
So you're asking about one thing, we could talk about it, but it doesn't seem relevant right now because your issue is you are not over your ex. You can blame the sex if you want. Presumably it's more than that, but one, you need to realize that. Two, you need to like take some time for yourself, reset, maybe therapy, depending on how long it's been. But that's the issue. And like you pretending it's just that the sex was good isn't doing yourself any favors because now you're not going to be able to get over it. You know what I mean?
Because the thing, like, it would be one thing if you were seeing other people and you were comparing the sex.
Yes.
Like, if you're like, oh, I had sex with X amount of people, and it's like no one is doing the things that he's doing. No one is giving me the sexual satisfaction. But you're saying that like you're not attracted to anyone, you can't emotionally connect with anyone. You're not
pre-disappointed, which again is its own thing. But like I was ready to answer this question in one way, but now I don't have to because that's not the fucking issue. You're not over this person. That is fine. I think for you, a healthy thing would be to realize it isn't about the sex. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, the sex could be a very large part of it for sure.
When you click with someone sexually like that, or in any way, and then it's taken away, that sucks. I get it. You need to realize that in Dane's scenario, he was pointing out, that would be the issue.
Yeah.
But in the one you're telling us, you're not over your ex.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you want to talk about it sexually, you now know more about yourself, presumably, and you now know what this person did to blow your mind. So the good thing is sex is a two-way street. And if you get a partner, you could say, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? Yeah. I like X, Y, and Z. And they'll be like, great. Now, if they're good.
You do have to walk the fine line of making sure that you're not telling your new partner to fuck you exactly like your ex, right? Like there's things like, this way, like you might have learned that, oh, you really like certain positions or a certain sort of speed and vigor, or maybe you really like oral sex, or maybe you learn that you don't like oral sex and you can only come through like, manual stimulation with finger. Like take what you learned, take like the toolkit and don't try to reskin your new partner as your boyfriend.
Yes. So where I was coming from was it seemed like you underwent sexual self-discovery with this person. That doesn't mean that person is the key to that or like the be all and end all of that. It's hopefully you have developed. And what I'm saying is you can bring those discoveries forward with you. But again, don't just be like, you now are Greg. What? Who's Greg?
Also,
doesn't matter.
Keep your mind open because this guy opened these doors.
Exactly.
If you
Who knows how many other fucking doors there are?
We've talked about the sex house before. This man, ground floor. You know, he's got
have a basement. You might have
a basement. You could have a second floor, a third floor, maybe a triplex.
The attic.
Maybe you have a converted attic. Yeah. Right now, your basement kind of sucks. But when you meet Steve, he's going to finish that basement for you.
Literally.
And now you're going to know new things about yourself. So I think a lot of people, I don't know. I think they're 22.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially when you're younger, you learn, you get inundated because you're inexperienced and you don't have a whole lot of like world vision of like, or even just sort of like personal experience with sex where when it's good, it's fucking good. And you can't imagine it getting better.
Yes.
Right. And it's like, you're just like, oh, this chick,
that was it.
This person gave me a blowjob that was better than all the other blowjobs I got before. And I can't imagine it getting better.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've felt that way.
Yeah.
And
then I've been proven wrong. It just every time.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's great.
And then there are also times where like you'll be with people who do a thing that you used to think you didn't like.
Yeah. And you do like.
Right. Like I've been with people, it's like everyone, a deep throat blowjob, always great. But then there are times you'll like hook up with someone who doesn't even do that. And who doesn't even get close to what you would consider deep throating. And you're like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, it's not the deep throating. It's not this. It's a technique that a certain person, whatever. So,
and like the joy of getting with a new partner is experiencing new things. So don't hold too tightly to the old shit because you're going to just close yourself off. And being pre-disappointed, that's bullshit. Stop.
I mean, I think that's where everything gets, that's the crux of the question, right? Saying that you're getting pre-disappointed by people is you comparing them to your ex. And as Niall said, the only reason you're doing that is because you're not over them.
Well, I think the crux is just like, I'm not attracted to anyone. I don't like anybody. I don't feel any. It's like, okay, cool. So you're very specifically textbook not over your ex, right? Because again, if you were like, found the hottest guy, super into him, can't make me come. Then the question or the answer would be talk to him, communicate.
Yeah.
Like, that's on, you can take your pleasure in your own hands. And I don't mean stay at home and jacket it,
Yes.
So you got to get over your ex.
Please.
And you got to realize what we've said this whole time is all true. Everything. All of it. Even the B.
The B is, and now I don't know. It's not making any noise. Maybe
now it's very quiet.
Maybe the B is fake.
But how do we had a joint hallucination? Maybe there's a lot of carbon monoxide in this closet.
Maybe we are dying.
Maybe we don't even have a podcast, and this has all been a shared fever dream. We walk into the closet.
Yeah, that
Your partner's
buzzing.
like, yeah, the podcast have fun, guys.
You
We're
another
just sniffing glue.
another live show. Cool. So the edit.
Okay.
People were asking why we broke up, if we were compatible. Honestly, it's a long story. He was my first boyfriend at 22 years old. Never had a relationship before him. My family is very controlling despite the fact that I am an adult. They did not like me dating. They sat us down and basically shamed us for the idea that we were having sex. I got into many nasty fights with my parents and I was becoming independent thanks to being with him. My ex's parental figures passed away last year. His only real family, and the grief completely changed him. Oh, passed away. Yeah. A very strange place to put a comma, but cool. Which is understandable. I wanted to support him, but he pushed me away emotionally. He was very cold to me. At the end of our relationship, he said he no longer loved me as a way to keep me away. He said later on he was lying, and of course he loves me, but I couldn't get over it. It completely crushed me. Some others have asked what made the sex so pleasurable. Probably the fact that he loved me. Honestly, he was always very attentive to me. He was patient with me. I could see the love, but especially the passion in his eyes. There was just a spark between us.
Well, also, if you haven't been in a relationship, yeah, a one-night stand can be great. But when you're with someone who you know and they know you, especially if you're really into them, that's the good shit.
I don't remember. Did she say he was the first? I'm assuming.
She was like, my first boyfriend. So it's like, maybe you fucked before, but if you have a very serious, strict family, you're probably fumbling quickly in a park or in a car.
Yeah.
Famous places to not have much fun. You think it's scary having to be in the closet? Imagine having to be in a field when you got your dick out, right? It's bad.
Now people are going to think we don't have our dicks out.
Shit. Yeah. So you're not over your ex.
And even the way of being broken up with,
yeah,
it's pretty
it wasn't even cut and dry. It was like, I said I loved you to drive you away, or I said I didn't love you to drive you away.
Yeah, and being told I don't love you is pretty harsh when you're that young,
for
right?
Sure.
That's
also ever,
yeah. And he had a pretty traumatic death in the family, so there was a lot happening and a lot going on, and you're growing as a person as well. So it's you've got a lot on your plate right now, and you're not ready to move on. That's fine. Don't move on, but don't try to think that it was the sex that you're moving on from. Yeah,
you're like, oh, it's this. No, it's not, it's okay for it not to be.
Yeah,
you're good. This is by Top Setting 8. What's this girl's deal?
What is it?
She's 32-year-old female. I'm 31-year-old male. She's 32 years old. We have been in a relationship for 4 years. At times, she is very serious. She's bought us a car. She's paid for months of rent, pays for bills, but can't sleep over and must sleep at her parents' house. She can't ever move out, despite lying to me and asking for a proposal to move. Yet we've both spent a significant amount of money on each other. She's not a scammer, in the traditional sense. And when it comes to her family, once I tried to drive her back to her family home, and she said she was willing to jump out of the moving car. Her parents are obsessively controlling, but she's also a 32-year-old woman. It's gotten to the point where she's lied about the most insane shit. Everyone's mouth drops to the floor. Like her father dying in the hospital while FaceTiming me from there, only to find out her dad's completely fine. What do you think?
What? I mean, sorry. If I was dropping someone off and they were like, please don't stop, I'll just dive out of the moving car. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I think it was the opposite. I think he was like, oh, I'll drive you home. And she was like, if you try, I'll jump out of this fucking car. That's how, she... Oh, I think it's, you can't see them.
Yeah, I mean, my first knee-jerk reaction is she's cheating on a family. She has a life, and you are her side piece. And that would be my guess.
It certainly seems like some ruse is afoot.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that, she doesn't live with her parents, and in fact, she lives with her husband and several children.
Well, what's her deal, Dave?
What's her deal?
What's this girl's deal?
Now, it depends on how emotionally invested you are, but if someone was willing to pay months of my rent as a single man, I could potentially be okay with turning the other cheek.
Every now and then being like, my dad's dead, wink. What?
And I would love to know if that was prompted by something. I wonder if he was like, oh, let's do this. And she's like, I can't. My dad's really sick. And then drove to a fucking hospital.
That's the best part.
And was like, there it is. Also, there's a rule in most hospitals where it's no cell phones.
Yeah,
so it's
she just doesn't care, man. What's her deal?
What's her deal?
I would love to know, was it just a white wall or was she like in a hospital? Because that's...
She's on YouTube and she's like got like hospital background, like ambience.
You're just there and you just hear an episode of Grey's Anatomy playing in the background and it's like, I need 50 cc stat. And she's like, hospital. And he's like, okay.
It's not great. And I think...
Now, let's talk about this though for a second.
Okay.
She bought us a car.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to do if you have a hidden family, I would assume.
Not if you buy it in cash. We don't know how well off she is.
Damn, yeah.
If she's throwing fucking months of rent.
She throw months of rent at herself out of cars.
Yeah.
What's her deal?
So it's, maybe she's got this like rich husband who doesn't have, you know what I mean? That's why he can't ever go that way. Like,
yeah.
if he rolls up and like you're going into rich part of town, you're gonna be like, oh, crazy. But like, that's my, like, I feel like it's just like, oh, it's very easy to go and scoop $4,000 out of a millionaire's
millionaire's money jar.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And be like, cool, I bought you this car, and just have like a 2004 Pontiac Sunfire. Like,
I also feel like if money isn't or if it is, I guess that doesn't really matter. It's a pretty good way to make you stop asking questions.
Yeah.
Right? If it's like, oh, I've spent this money on you, I'm invested, clearly. It's like, if you can't prove it through, being invested or doing typical things, you could then be like, look at the money I spent, which is what they're doing. They're saying like, they've done all this crazy shit, but they've spent money on me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is how the Tinder swindler fucking got people. He was like, I'll bring you on this private jet, blah, 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 blah. So that when he then was like, give me $10,000, they were like, he's rich. He brought me on a private jet, but he was using the last,
Yeah.
That's a very classic scammer maneuver. I also do love, my favorite part, she's not a scammer, brackets, in the traditional sense. So you're admitting she's a scammer? Like,
yeah, she's just an unconventional scammer. Look, you made your choice, right? Like, you've made your decision. You know something is up.
Yes.
You know things are wild. You know she's not being honest with you. And yet you continue. So you've made your choice that what you're getting out of this relationship is worth dealing with all this shit.
And that's the thing. It's like, what's your deal? Honestly, what's your fucking deal, bud? Like, are you cool with this? It seems like you might not be because you're posting about it on Reddit, but do you think it's okay? No, obviously it isn't. Do you think it's going to get better? I doubt it, bud.
Yeah.
So like, if you're happy with this relationship that confuses you, scares you, lies to you, but occasionally buys you a car, then cool. But you also can't be like, she can never move out. She lied about the proposal to be like, you're not going to get to live together. Or if you do, it's going to be even worse, I can imagine. So I think you got to figure out what you want from this. And if it isn't exactly what you're currently getting, maybe time to end it.
If you're like, be like, okay, cool. You're so close with your family. Your parents are overbearing. Let's go for dinner.
Yeah.
Let's have dinner with them.
Yeah.
And see what she says. Be like, great. I do want to drive you home tonight.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's like, okay, you must understand at this point. You know what I mean? Like, ask her all the basic things. Be like, cool. If your parents are so important to you, have me over dinner. Let's go for dinner. Let's do a show. Let's do something.
Yeah.
And if she's like, no, you can't. Also be like, why did you lie about your dad dying? Like, that for me, if someone hit me with a, hey babe, I'm really sorry, I can't come over tonight, my dad just died, that's fucked. That's crazy.
One of the heaviest things you can drop on someone.
Yeah.
To lie about that, I wouldn't be your friend. I wouldn't be your acquaintance. I wouldn't be your work colleague.
And like, what excuse? Like, you can't just say, oh, she lied about her dad dying, and then being like, what did she say? What was her answer for? Oops, no, and
especially
he came back.
Even if it's like, is her dad Jesus?
Could be.
Did this happen around Easter?
Ooh.
3 days later, was she like, actually, babe, I'm feeling fine. Don't worry about it.
Never mind. The Rock moved. Yeah. He's good.
Don't go by his tomb. There's a lot of people celebrating. There's nothing you could hit me with that would like make that okay. Because I would be, even if you were great in bed, really hot, bought me cars, months of rent, you would scare me at that point because that is not a normal human thing to do.
No.
And like, there's either two possibilities here, and that's that she used it to get out of something big and important, which is pretty fucked up to, if you had something so important that she had to lie that bad to get out of it.
Yeah.
Or she just like didn't want to come over one night.
It was a casual.
And I don't know which is worse.
Yeah.
just, it doesn't matter what her deal is. Dump this person.
It's bad.
It's so bad. And also, if they have a hidden family, do you think hidden family are going to be happy when they're like, hey, we didn't send young Bryant and Claire Naldo to fucking university because you spent all your money on fucking Devinda's car?
Wild names, man.
Yeah, I tried to, not do the usual.
You just got to look at it and be a logical, sane person and be
nothing good is happening here.
This is all insane. This is all crazy shit that's happening.
This is a hard life, and your life could be so much easier. All you need to do is go to bed at 8, get up at 4, and hit the club before it closes, and you'll find another girl in no time.
Yeah, bad. Let's do this one real quick.
Now remember, we do have about 5 minutes of B time.
I'm going to keep it all in. Shift Kind asks, is she a walking red flag? Me, 29-year-old male. Her, 24-year-old female.
I want to guess preemptively whether or not it's worse than the last person who is, in fact, a walking red flag.
Sure.
I'm going to say no.
That's a pretty safe bet. Yeah.
I realized as I did this, it's not actually an exciting game. You know what? I'm going to say yes. There we go. That's more exciting.
I have been seeing this girl consistently for a few months. Up until a couple weeks ago, things were good until a specific night.
When she told me her dad died.
Last minute, told her that I was going out with some friends, and she did not seem to like it, even though she was out herself. She went to a nearby part of the city that's a little bit of a trek, and she said she might stay over, but was not sure. She was texting me while she was there, drinking, having fun, etc. So I presumed she was staying. I was out with my friends, enjoying the night, did not really look at my phone. In the early morning, I checked in with her. She proceeded to dig into me, saying, how come I stopped responding to her after midnight? Why didn't I see if she got home okay? And that I don't care, etc. Keep in mind, we were just dating and not in a relationship. The day after that, she told me that she got into an argument with someone at the party and basically projected that anger onto me in a way. Since then, things have been weird. Also, she always asks who I'm texting when I'm around her, does not like the fact that I may associate with other women, non-sexually of course, and always seems to want to know my whereabouts. I feel like she's controlling and clingy at this point.
Yeah. Let's point out the green flags here, is that she admitted that she was angry at something else and took it out on you.
Yeah.
Bad that it happened, good that she admitted it.
Yes.
Weird that things are still weird, though, so I don't know if that's on your end or her end.
Yeah.
She does sound controlling and insecure, needy.
And also, I get vibes of
hypocrisy, maybe?
Yeah, I get vibes of, I was doing something suspicious, even though you guys aren't dating or whatever. It gives me the vibes of, I'm out doing this thing, and if I'm doing this thing, I'm assuming you're doing this thing, and I'm going to get mad, and I'm going to get mad at you before I can feel bad or you can get mad at me for doing this thing. Because I had an ex who used to do that quite a bit, where it was they would go out and then it would be a fight when they got home for whatever reason of whatever I did incorrectly. And then it turned out it was oh no, it was because you were doing X, Y, and Z while you were out that night. Cool. Thanks for making me feel like shit.
I'm glad that you did shitty things and then decided to take it out on me as a way of making me as bad as you are or something. Yeah. Maybe, or it could be even simpler. It could be she was relying on having your place to stay over, and then when you left, she was like, ugh. You know what I mean? Because she say oh, she was nearby and she might stay over. Or
no,
she might stay out.
She went further out, so she might stay in that area.
Okay, I thought it was the opposite. Yeah, I think in a situation like this, you need to be aware of these red flags and be self-respecting enough to cut it off when it reaches a point.
And to address it.
And to address it, yes. And that's going to be my second part. So keep an eye on these red flags and do not be afraid to call it off, because better now, my friend. And that's the best thing I ever did while dating, was I reached a point where I got very harsh about red flags. And you know what happened? I found a wonderful partner.
Yeah.
Secondly, address them. Right? Don't let things slide. Have a talk about them and establish firm boundaries, because that will do a lot in determining how your relationship is going to go forward. Because if you're hey, I have friends who are women, I will continue to have friends who are women, that's not going to change.
Yeah.
And they have an issue with that. Cool. That's a red flag, and you cut them off. If they go, oh, okay, sure, and they get over it and can move on, that's a green flag, and you've had this conversation. Whereas if you okay, yeah, I won't see Stacy tonight. Oh, I
or
won't
just
see...
don't talk about them,
Yes.
right? Where it becomes
Then-
secretive
yes.
that you are friends with, Steph and Stacy,
Yeah.
and they're coming to karaoke with you and your friends.
Yeah.
And then someone's Instagram story
Mhm.
has Steph and Stacy, and you're like, well, I thought you weren't talking to them. It's like, well, I just didn't say I wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you kind of don't go out with them for a couple of weeks because you're trying to appease this person.
Yeah.
But then you start dating and this was never your plan long term. But now that it gets brought up, it's a bigger issue because they thought like it's already been established that you don't have these friends. It's not okay. And then it's a lot harder to have that conversation again,
Mhm.
which is why you have the conversation now in a good way, right?
Yeah.
So don't put it off. Don't like acquiesce to things you're not going to be comfortable with in a couple of months or a year or whatever. And establish these firm boundaries. And if they have a problem with that, great, find somebody else.
Yeah.
You know?
I think also setting clear communication of things like, if I'm out with my friends, I'm not going to be checking my phone.
Yeah.
So like, if you need me, then like call me or something, right? Like I'll answer a phone call, but like I'm not going to be checking my phone every 5
Yeah.
minutes to
And like
to
maybe
see
I
if
will, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm out, I'm going to be having fun, as I'm sure you are. So,
Yeah. I'm not on call, and like I'm also not like your landing pad either, right? Like I don't have to have you over. If we've talked about it,
Yeah.
then at some point in the night we need to be like, okay, by midnight we need to know
Mhm.
so I can sort things out.
Or even just like, oh, I might come over to yours. Oh, actually, I'm going to go out.
Yeah.
Great. Like you can't be sitting at home all night just hoping or waiting just in case. And
Yeah.
it sucks. Because then what? It's 1 a.m. She's like, actually, I'm going to go home, or I'm going to stay here. And it's like, cool. I could have gone out. I could have
Yeah.
done anything. That's not going to be fun for anybody.
So
So
yeah, have those conversations, have those like clear communication guidelines of being like, if I'm out, I can't promise I'm going to be looking at my phone. I'm a person that like is in the moment. I'm having fun with my friends. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. If I'm at a concert, like I'm not going to constantly be pulling out my phone. If I'm at a movie, like, like there's a bunch of things where you're just like, I'm not on call for you. And sure, it's nice and cute if I check in and make sure you get home safe,
for
but
sure, yeah.
also not a requirement. Again, I don't know how long, a few months,
Yeah.
right? Like
But not even like
I'm not going to be checking in with you.
Yeah.
If we're like a casual hookup situation, I'm not going to check in with you every time. Cause like for all I know, you're hooking up with someone else.
That's the thing, right? It's like, I don't know.
You're not exclusive. So
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be like, hey, are you home safe? And you have to be like, I'm safe,
Yeah.
which are answers I've gotten before. And it's like, okay, is that like, are you just saying you're not home? Like,
Yeah.
not important details for me,
Mhm.
but like now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, and like if every time you were going home with somebody else and your partner was like, hello, hey, but like,
Yeah.
so just you set boundaries. Don't let this person trample over them or get you in places you're uncomfortable with, and it'll work out one way or another, because either they will be like, you're right, and you'll move forward, or they'll be like, no, fuck you, you're not allowed to friends. And you're like, great, I'm not going to date you.
Yeah. Yep.
That.
Good luck.
Maybe.
Or not.
Tinder time?
Tinder time.
I don't remember how long we took to...
It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep a lot of the B stuff in, I think. Let's get on some Tinders. I haven't got on a dating app in a very long time
Mhm.
for obvious reasons. So let's do a little live swipe. Let's see if it's still as bad as it always is. Yep, these are all just no profiles so far.
Hell yeah.
I just said yes.
You fool.
I shouldn't be doing that. Is there a... No. Nope. Still no. Although it does look like Tinder has added quite a bit of like information like already in there,
Okay.
right? Like you get sort of like a
Maybe too many.
Oh, you can increase your chances by sending a message before matching. I
That's
wonder.
weird.
I assume that's a paid thing.
Maybe.
Should I just send Kate a message?
She's like, hey, do you listen to podcasts?
Do you listen to podcasts? Yeah. Okay. Do you have any? So I can, while I look.
I don't.
Okay.
I blew them all at our live show.
Hell
Our
yeah.
very fun live show. And if you haven't been to one, you should go to our next one.
You should. This is Saba, 34. I love to sing, dance, and share my art with others. I'm always up for exploring, although it does say I always up for exploring and trying new
Mhm.
things. Enjoy to explore the world and discovering new experiences.
Is that it?
You just said the same thing
Yeah,
twice.
that sounds very bot
Both-
energy.
Both incorrectly. Respect is my top priority. I believe in not judging a book by its cover, but I do have a soft spot for tall, strong folks. Smiley face. Because I believe that big hugs have great healing power.
Haven't we heard that before?
I mean, there's a very good chance we've come across Saba before.
Maybe. I don't love your bot energy and your repetition of exploring. I would love to, like, unless you're fucking Dora, you can't say exploring this many times in your fucking profile.
Yeah, especially
right?
not back to back.
Yeah, like, where have you been? High Park? Well done. It's going to be a 5. I'll give it a 6 because there's an element of positivity.
There's so much on Tinder now.
Yeah, that's
so
insane.
like, just to give people a rundown of what we've got. We've got the essentials, which is how far away, their height, their occupation, where they're from, their pronouns, and their sexual identity. All, I think, pretty cool things to have. Great.
Mhm.
Basics, they've got their zodiac sign, their family plans, their communication style, and their love style.
Okay.
Then they have their lifestyle, which is pets, whether they drink, whether they smoke, and how often they work out.
And it says view 5 more.
And then sleeping habits. And then they have their interests, which is always there. And then they have going out. You can find me socializing. I like to dress down. I tend to arrive early. My exit strategy looks like, shh, don't tell. My weekends are for recharging. Saturday night looks like fun nights out. Typical Sunday looks like self-care. Me and my phone. I'm the kind of person who forgets to reply. I prefer receiving phone calls.
Oh, psycho.
My phone
That's
is
a 4.
always on low battery.
That's a 3.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Although I don't hate it because I feel like more people would use those things and that gives you a decent little snapshot.
I do know this person better based on that.
Yeah.
I don't love it because it's a little less organic. Because I feel like the way you put things is way more important than what you put down in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I know far more about you if you choose to write a paragraph X way than if you just answer these like bullet prompts.
But it is a good little snapshot. I don't hate it. I feel like people would be more inclined to to tick a couple boxes.
But also there's really important things there, like big time texter, but then they say they forget to reply.
And also would prefer
a phone call.
What does that mean?
Talking about?
What does that mean?
I don't like you now.
This is Sheena. Like a beer on the patio. Love low-key cottages. Swimming brings me peace. If you don't have a sense of humor, I'm not the gal for you. Hoping to find a partner, but always open to making new friends. Can't see likes. Ask away. I'm an open book. Have to be playful, like impromptu water fights, possibly in the house, but then help clean up.
Confusing last sentence.
That's a very strange last sentence, especially because like they misspelled a bunch of words.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a case of not editing.
Yeah.
They were definitely going to say like water fights, and then we're like impromptu. Added that, and then forgot they had already written water.
Like water impromptu water fights.
Yeah.
I dig it. A lot of it is things I resonate with, like beers on the patio and swimming. A water fight in the house would suck. I will say that. Like, there are certain things that's not realistic. And if it is, that's not the kind of house I want to live in because I have books. You know what I mean? They're
I have electronics.
I have a podcast.
Yeah.
Sir.
Now it does look like Tinder also has prompts now, as it says, "Oh, I just got a new like. Uh oh. 2 truths and a lie. Been skydiving. I used to model. I swam with sharks." And then if I'm not home, you can find me on a hike feeding wildlife. So it looks like Tinder has just been
Tinder's
like
just hinging it up.
We're just scooping every possible dating platform. You don't need to do anything.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6.
This is Joyce. She says 1v1 me in Smash Bros. It's everywhere and nowhere.
It sounds like it's behind you.
See, to me, it sounds like it's up and in the boxes.
Maybe. Just like your partner's box of bees. Oh, there it is.
What is it?
It is a pretty big looking bee guy.
Oh boy, that is a bee. Oh my god, don't hit it. Don't hit it when I'm stuck in here. Oh my god. Oh, you've made it mad. You've made it so mad. Did you kill it?
About to. Do you have anything you want me to kill it with?
Do that, whatever it is. Just Jesus. Oh.
Oh, it's so big.
It was so big. That was for sure a wasp. That was not a bee.
I think it might be a hornet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
How did it get in here? If I have a fucking hornet's nest in my closet,
it's either like a giant. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I guess we had our windows open. I guess it just kind of. How did it get in here?
Where was it this whole time?
Well,
I can't move that notebook.
Yeah, no, that book lives on the floor now.
I'm sure we handled it real cool, guys.
That was probably a podcasting audio delay. I feel like I do have to keep all of the B-stock in here. Otherwise, the episode's going to be like 20 minutes long.
You may have to. Maybe we could get someone to do an animatic of our bee struggles. Oh man, well, I like how you blamed me. You got it angry. It came for us, dude.
It did. Once it knew
Yeah.
what it was doing, the same thing. It was like, they sound so big.
We did. Then he saw us. We saw it. We were both like, "Oh dear."
Good swatting though. You fucking
yeah.
you took that bad boy out.
I can do one thing, and it's SWAT. There was no getting out. There was us or him.
Yeah,
Like, I'm sorry.
it
There's
was.
the door, the mic. If I tried to get the door, the mic was going down. The time was low.
I do have to say, I want it very clear. It was not a bee. We did not. We did not kill a bee. That was.
We could probably take a picture.
We
of
could
what's
definitely
left of
take
it.
a-
I don't want to move this notebook yet, though. I mean, I don't care because I'm a big, strong man, but
I feel like we could.
we gotta move it just in case it's still alive.
I mean, oh god, no, it's smushed.
Oh man, it's big. Well, are these secret notes?
No, it's Scrabble. They're Scrabble points.
It is still alive.
Flip it back upside down. We'll put it outside. just so we flipped it around to take a picture, and then Niall flipped it back over, and then gave it just a little casual push, just to
I'm putting it out of its misery.
yeah.
It's not going to live. It is still okay.
No, I mean, the crunch.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm done. We risked our lives for you today, so if you want to pay us back, maybe get us out of the closet, which is now like it was already small and full of boys. Now it's small, full of bees.
It's not bees.
Okay, wasps, hornets, maybe. It was big.
It was big.
Like it was probably about the size of my thumb.
It was a thumb-sized boy. Yeah,
And we don't have small thumbs.
we have freakishly large thumbs.
I would say generally medium to big thumbs.
I thought you were going to say meaty,
Meaty, yeah.
meaty thumbs.
So if you want to help us get out of the closet and or buy protective bee suits, please support us on Patreon. And after a thrilling audio journey like we just took you on, I don't see why you wouldn't. Go to fbuddiespodcast.com. You'll find the Patreon button there. Or go to patreon.com/fbuddies, I think.
I love that I've started editing these shows again for a brief period of time, and like we literally could not send this to an editor. This would be they would send it back to me.
I think we should just see what happens.
just to see what they keep in.
Should we put the bee cut on Patreon?
I think the show I think, like I said, I think we need the bee needs to stay in the whole way through.
Okay.
Thank you very much for listening, friends. I'm glad we survived. I'm glad we made it out.
I did a murder and I feel bad, but
You shouldn't feel bad. Like you said, it was us or them.
yeah.
They were coming right at us. They like dove bomb you.
Yeah,
Like, they
I know.
came right for you.
I know.
Thank you very much for listening. It really does mean a lot to us, and for everyone who came to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a fun show. It was like really good energy,
Yeah, yeah.
and let's say it. They always are.
They always are. They always are. But like this one was great. I love you guys. You ready for some bad sex writing?
Yes.
This I'm gonna read and then you're gonna guess who tweeted this.
Okay.
Sex is for making children.
No, I know.
Any man who has sex with women because it feels good is gay. Oh, my pee-pee feels good. This is great. In fact, if you're 40 with less than 5 children, you're probably gay. All that feel-good pee-pee sex? Hardly any genetic legacy?
Yeah, that's Mr. Tate.
Yeah.
That is Andrew Tate.
Damn, it says here posted from Sal in Romania.
The thing that I fucking love about this is he was sort of like the incel like boy for a very long time. And now, like, how confused must they be with these guys who, like, their whole thing was like,
I get girls.
we're not getting laid.
Yeah.
And now they're being told, like,
If you want to get laid, that's gay.
yeah.
You should want to have children. What are you fucking talking
Because, like,
about?
hey, look, if the whole thing is just preserving your legacy, you don't even have to have sex for that, right? Like,
Yeah.
you could just donate your sperm
bank.
and have a surrogate.
You could raise a dog really well.
Yeah.
And then that polite dog is your legacy.
I feel like yeah. It's a very short one.
You could kill a bee and then your legacy is you're a bee slayer.
Yeah.
Which is...
Stop saying bee.
I'm sorry,
We gotta protect bees.
it's not a bee.
You're a hornet
it's not a
slayer.
Bee. I'm a horny boy. Hornet boy.
I don't think you can say wasp slayer because I think that could be potentially problematic.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant? No one would care. No, there's like a level of wealth inherent in that, right?
Yeah.
No one would care. Eat the rich. Yeah, no, it was not a bee.
It wasn't
A
a
bee
bee.
would like alight softly on my shoulder and be like, Mr. Nile, can you take me outside? And
I
I'd
need-
find a nice flower and
I need
we'd-
some honey.
Yeah, I'd be like, God,
Well,
Fuck
they make
yeah.
honey. I need some sugar water.
maybe he's lazy. Maybe he wants me to give him honey, so he brings it back to his boss.
Yeah.
He gets a day off. Like, he meets his quota.
I'd find pollen. I'm very allergic to everything. I would buy a bag of pollen if I had a little bee buddy. And I'd just be like, here you go, man. Just crack that open on a Monday. He comes in, rolls around,
Yeah.
gets all fluffy.
All fluffy, right? Like,
and
I
he'd be
would-
like, get out of here, man. You
Yeah.
met your quota. Take the rest of the week off. I got
Yeah,
you.
Right? Then you could just chill.
Yeah, bees are great.
Bees are great.
My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm the Hornet Slayer.
We've been your fuck buddies.